Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Siren Serpentine and I am here on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram under the same name. So today I want to talk about psychic vampirism. Truth be told, psychic vampirism is one of those topics that really pushed me deeper into the study of esotericism and spirituality. Around the time I came across the term, I was maybe 19 years old, 19, 20 years old. I was in college and I found myself in relationships and friendships that seemed to just drain me to the point of me feeling really depressed. So let me rewind real quick. I'm assuming that you all are familiar with the term psychic vampirism, but if you are not, let me offer you a definition. So, a psychic vampire is a person or entity who is spiritually and emotionally weak and looks to feed off of the vital life force energy of others. This also might be a person who has a weak self concept and they are constantly looking to others to validate them and to make them feel whole. All right, so that's a quick definition. Anyway, just I found myself running into relationships, friendships that would leave me feeling drained, emptied. So, in searching into this on the internet, I came across the term psychic vampirism. And in further researching the term, I came across Teal Swan. She had a video on the topic. Shout out to Teal Swan. I know she's a controversial figure, and there's a lot of things to unpack there. But as a millennial, I can say Teal Swan was that girl for those of us looking for certain spiritual knowledge. She made a lot of things accessible and easily understandable. So I have to shout out Teal Swan. As far as the other stuff she got going on, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. I'm not condoning that, but I can say I found her videos very helpful. Anyway, moving forward. So I ended up discovering that a lot of my relationships at that time were parasitic in nature. So this is me. That was me, like very young person in the world, 19, 20. I'm 33 now, and I would like to offer my perspective on psychic vampirism as someone who has experienced more life. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this because it may be hard to hear, but psychic vampirism is always a two-way street. They are drawing off of you, siphoning off of you, but there is something. It might be small, but there is something that you are also receiving from them. Just breathe with that for a minute, all right? Because I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying that it is your fault, and I'm not saying that you did anything wrong. What I am saying is you may have to take a moment to look within yourself to see how are you, no matter how small, benefiting from this relationship with this person who is draining you. I'm going to use myself, my experiences for an example. So going back to me in college, and I'm in like this very toxic friendship with a girl who she is just very needy, very needy, very overbearing, but at the same time, I did not want to end my friendship with her. Something about her really drew me in. And looking back on it now, what I know of myself is I have a savior complex. I grew up sheltered and very Christian. And by the time I went to college, around 19, I ended up completely leaving Christianity. Being away from my family and able to read and study on my own, looking into actual history, I quickly discovered that the Bible made no sense. I had my questions before, but when I was on my own and really able to study and look into things, I quickly saw that it made no sense. And I didn't spend a whole long time unpacking, deconstructing. I'm like, this don't make sense. Done with that, and on to the next. So looking back on that, I should have spent more time deconstructing I should have spent more time deconstructing my thoughts and how I viewed the world, because I was somebody who was raised Christian. I was raised on these Bible stories from out the womb. So my way of viewing the world was through a Christian perspective. And to be like Christ, which is the ultimate goal, to be like Christ means to be self-sacrificing. It means to be the savior. It means to be the martyr. It means to be to be willing to offer yourself up, surrender yourself over for the good of others, for the glorification of God. You feel me? So that was deeply ingrained into my being, deeply ingrained. I approached all of my relationships from that standpoint. I approached career from that standpoint of being of service, from the standpoint of offering myself up, surrendering myself over for the good of others. I needed that to feel whole. I needed that to feel like a good person. I needed that to feel worthy. So when you're out here presenting yourself as a savior, who do you think you're going to attract? Those who need to be saved. And that's exactly what I attracted. Those who needed to be saved. So what I propose to you, if you are a person who is finding yourself in these dynamics where you feel that you are being drained by others, you feel like you are being used by others constantly, and you keep finding yourself in these dynamics, what is it that you are getting from those relationships? What is it that you need from those relationships? And how do you heal that within yourself? For me, I had to realize that I was worthy without doing all of this labor. I was not here to mule and to work and to further everybody else's agenda but my own. I had to let go of needing to prove my goodness. I had to let go of that. That does not mean that I'm out here not doing anything for anybody. You know, it doesn't mean that, but I'm no longer doing things from others from a standpoint of needing that to feel worthy. I do what I want to for others. I do what I feel like I'm responsible for, because we all have responsibilities in this world. I had to switch that perspective around. And I would implore you to do the same if you are finding yourself constantly in these toxic dynamics where you're being drained. So, if you have a psychic vampire in your life and you are looking to assert a boundary with them or to get rid of them, I'm going to tell you what happened with me and that particular friend. So, when I was around her, I dimmed my light so she could shine because I felt like she needed it so much. She needed to shine. So I made myself so small around her. I stopped really keeping myself up. Now, I was not going out dirty or anything like that, but I would not really care for myself in the way that I could. Like, I was presentable, but I'm kind of a glam girl. I like to really look nice. I like to put that shit on. I wasn't doing any of those things to allow her to shine. So when I stepped back into my power and being me, being who I was, when I no longer co-signed her mess and foolishness, when she would say certain things and would look for me to validate her, I offered nothing. I offered nothing. I'm not telling you yay or nay. I'm just like, oh, okay, girl. I offered her nothing. When we went places together, I started back, being myself, showing up fully in my light. I stopped making myself small for her. All of a sudden, she didn't want to go out together anymore. If, we're going out and now I'm getting attention and people are noticing me, she didn't want to go out anymore. She didn't want to talk to me about things anymore when I wasn't co-signing, when I wasn't trying to fix her problems for her. So what I'm going to say to you is do less. Do less. Stop overworking yourself. Stop making yourself small. Show up in your power, show up in your glory, and watch the people who can't take you showing up as your full self fall back. Stop doing all of this free labor and watch the people mooching off of you fall back. But now, look, this is where it may be hard for you. You might find that when you stop doing all of this free labor, free emotional labor for others, you might find that you don't know who you are without it. So if you don't know who you are outside of being a savior, outside of being the people pleaser, good girl, good guy, if you don't know who you are outside of that, I implore you to do your work. Do your internal work. That's all. I didn't want to make this video too long. I hope that everything made sense to you. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop it down in the comments. And until next time, see you later.